Well, we've got an update on the whistleblowers, or I guess heroes, I would say, who decided to share extremely important information with the public on Monday. They have now been terminated, as well as 7 other officers from Nashville PD have now been placed on leave in what can only be described as, at least in my opinion, a massive cover up. Now, as the mainstream media moves on from this, and starts to tell us more about a third war we need to fund, I think we're left with far more questions than answers. We've been told many times now that these documents have come out, there's a court battle around them, all this kind of stuff. Well, look at what just 3 pages of 20 journals, several home videos, a goodbye letter, literally thousands and thousands of pages of stuff that we all know, I think. I don't think it would be that crazy to say if this person had been writing about, if this person was a Trump supporter, mega Republican, it would have been published immediately. But now law enforcement seems to be treating these individuals, these heroes who brought this stuff to light, like the actual criminal. And it's sure interesting how they got to the bottom of it so quick. Brand new update. Breaking 7 Nashville officers just placed on administrative leave in connection with the release. 7. The powers that be are more concerned about finding the leaker than they are about the contents of the anti-white writings. This is definitely hiding something bigger. By the way, we're talking about this every day on my daily Rumble live show. And I'm not asking anyone to leave YouTube, but what I am asking is, and I'm offering you $10,000 in prizes. I'm giving away a Meta PC's gaming computer, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox Series X, a Nintendo OLED, a Steam Deck, a Asus ROG Ally, $60, $70 gift cards, thousands of dollars in Legos, coffee brand coffee for a year, all sorts of stuff like that. All you have to do to win that is step 1, download the Rumble app. Step 2, follow the quartering. Step 3, tune in daily from noon to 2. And that's it. I give an entry link during the stream. You enter. I pick 8 winners a day, 120 winners in total. It's awesome. I've already picked a bunch of winners. People are really happy. So get in there and have some fun, and we can talk uncensored. So Stephen Crowder writes, the powers that be are more concerned about finding the leaker than they are the contents of the actual document. Well, this on top of course, Colin Wright pointing out that both Facebook and Twitter and YouTube have been suppressing the story, have been at minimum demonetizing, many cases outright removing. We saw a story in the Babylon Bee removed. We saw Stephen Crowder's video removed. We also see Instagram removing any posts that were sharing these documents. And again, I think we all know why. The documents themselves included a lot of the rhetoric that a lot of these colleges are pushing on our students, right? This whole idea of white privilege, which was literally written about in these documents. Now, again, I will say this person was clearly mentally ill, okay? This is somebody who spent 2 hours a day, like had set aside time to spend with their stuffed animals every day. This is somebody that had deep, deep issues. But I have a lot of questions about, particularly the entry and I almost got caught in the summer of 2021. What happened in the summer of 2021? Were there officers involved? Are we now facing a wide-scale walkout? Because 7 officers getting fired over this seems like a lot. You see this, 7 national officers now on administrative assignment amid investigation into the writings, and 2 fired. There's conflicting reports now, but this is the local Nashville news. 7 Nashville officers placed on administrative leave assignment after the leak. 7 Metro Nashville Police Department officers have been placed on administrative assignment during the ongoing investigation of the leak of these documents. The MNPD confirmed it is a, quote, non-punitive and meant to protect the integrity of the investigation. All 7 still have full police power. So essentially they're saying, hey, you're on the bench right now while we investigate this. Interesting that it's 7, but there's more questions as this goes on further. On Monday, 3 images of documents were released to a talk show and streamed online. Yes, Steven Crowder, you can say his name. None of the documents have been made available to the public since March 27th. According to MNPD, administrative assignment is when an employee has been approved by the appointing authority to be absent from their normal assigned tour of duty, and no other type status is appropriate. Most often, the status will be used when an officer has been involved in a use of force that might be under investigation, and the officer must be readily available to assist investigators. Being placed on this type of assignment requires employees to stay in contact with the investigative unit and respond immediately on any investigative request. Well, I do think it's pretty interesting. And you see here, breaking 2 officers are facing termination. I mean, is this how they really want to go about this? The people that, by the way, these are the brave officers that ran in towards the danger that day and probably prevented a significant amount of more damage by taking out the target. I've directed Wally Dietz, Metro's law director, to initiate an investigation into how these images could have been released. That investigation may involve local, state, and federal authorities. I'm deeply concerned with the safety, security, and well-being of the families and all Nashvillians who are grieving. I just, I'm not exactly sure who this is meant to protect. I can't know anything. I don't know anything. This is the stuff we talk about in the daily live streams too, that you already got the Rumble app and you're going to win some awesome prizes. Look, you have really good odds. It's not like there's 100,000 people there, so make sure you come on over there. Now, most recently, the court did grant a motion for the school and families to intervene in the discussion over the release of the documents. While they will not be responsible for the final decision, their opinion will be allowed in this case. Can you imagine can you even think of a single other situation like this where all these documents wouldn't have already been released? I'm pretty sure, in every other scenario, they would already been released. Again, I think it's safe to say that if the writings were, anti-LGBT or anti-woman or anti-Democrat or anti, I don't know,
the message,
they would have been out immediately. Why are these writings any different? And to be honest with you, this isn't even the first, for example, LGBTQ member who's done something like this. So it can't even necessarily be just that. I don't know. After the Twitter files, I've become even more skeptical, more black-pilled, so to speak, about what our government's doing, what our intelligence agencies are doing. There was a big report yesterday about mass censorship that was carried out against the American people around the election. It came out the other day where they were using like different agencies and universities to do this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't really know. Right now where the case stands is a 3-judge panel and appeals court is now working on a decision on whether the parents have a say in the case. I mean, quite frankly, they should be just releasing the documents right now. Right? They should just be release the documents right now, get it over with. Because these are the very same people that are standing on these, those that were lost that day and their families and saying, well, they don't want this stuff released. They don't want this stuff released. They don't want to relive all this. Okay, well then just release it. Because it's going to get out there. Eventually people are going to claw and bug and leak their way. This stuff is going to get out there, whether it's through Freedom of Information Act requests, FOIA, which you might see online, or other types of things. These documents will get out there. They won't be able to keep them buried forever. Did this person have some sort of conversations with people they shouldn't have been having? What was redacted? There were some interesting things that they took from the scene that were redacted on the list. What was that? People say, well, why is it, people are politicizing this and worried about this. Yeah, well, because they are. Because in no other scenario that I can think of were they this protective of documents, this protective of an absolute monster. I don't think they care. They weren't standing on the families and saying, oh, we're not going to release this information. Think of the families. I can't think of another time they've ever done that. Anytime they've had a chance to, release anything that these lunatics have written, they've done it before. So what makes this one? And quite frankly, if these 7 individuals, I'll be first and foremost to help organize a fundraiser for their legal defense. And as far as I can see, these people are heroes. If it's 7 of them, I hope that we can make it so they never have to work again. This is an absolute travesty. The fact that they're working this hard. Like, I get it. The angle where they're like, well, they sold the documents. Okay, if that happened, yeah, that's a crime. The only person who has published the documents is Steven Crowder, and he has indicated that he has not paid anything for it. Now, did some third party pay for it and then give them to Steven? I suppose that's a possibility, but we don't know that. The implication that these images were sold for money happened almost immediately. It's almost like they just had that keyed up and ready to go, and I'm not sure I buy that. I am not sure I believe that. I suppose we'll find out more tomorrow. And I'm having, on my live stream, I'm going to have a reporter or a guest, of course. On Thursdays and Fridays, I do guests. So we're going to be joined by Jordan Schachtel, who's a Substack writer, and you saw him on Twitter Files and things of that nature. So I hope that you tune in tomorrow. Remember, get your share of the money. Win $10,000 in prizes, plus come hang out, watch the live show. If you can't watch it live, you can still enter up until 7 o'clock at night. So if you're watching it later, get the Rumble app, follow the quartering. Hope to see you tomorrow. We're going to be talking about all the latest developments in this case.